Attention pro athletes. Want to secure your financial legacy and thrive off the field? Oakbridge Wealth Management, led by wealth manager Chris Anicetti, is your dedicated financial planning ally. But don't take it from me. Take it from the Dallas Cowboys' Tyler Biadasz. He says, Chris set goals financially and has been incredibly impactful in my journey in the NFL. Experience our customized, comprehensive approach, trusted by top NFL players. Don't leave your financial success to chance. Connect with Chris on Instagram at OakbridgeWM_Anicetti. That's OakbridgeWM_ANICETE, and let Oakbridge Wealth Management guide you across the goal line.
First sheet again, big opening, pass 5, pass 10, Perko to man, and he goes all the way to the 15-yard line. 17 yards of the carry.
Welcome back to the Believe in Badgers podcast on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag and Oakbridge Wealth Management. Once again, I'm Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by Badger legend, the Hebrew Hammer himself, Matt Bernstein. Bernie, how are we doing today?
Matt Perkins, it is always great to see you.
Likewise.
It is. It is really great to see you. I know we don't have great things to talk about.
Even if, yesterday was not, we're recording
like
Sunday night, this will drop Monday
holiday.
morning. It might not be the best holiday, but you know what? We're still together, so it's okay.
We're still together and we're still talking Badger football. And listen, at the end of the day, they're going to be better. Like, this can't last.
Well, and at the end of the day, it is a road loss to a now top 25 team. So we'll get into that here in just a second. Before we do,
top 25, like Section 1 football in New York State. All right, let's keep going.
Before we do, got to remind you guys that we are presented by BetOnline.ag, where they continue to be your number one source for all of your online sports wagering needs. You name it, they've got it over there at BetOnline.ag, including all of the possible props you could want on Bernie's Jets versus my Bills on Monday Night Football, and anything else in the entire sporting world. Head on over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit with our promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV. Bet online, where the game starts. All right, Bernie.
No, I'm kidding. Let's do it.
Let's do it. You know what? You know what time it is? Monday morning, fullback time. We are going to hop in and talk the good, the bad, and the ugly. And from this game, it's going to be most of the latter two from this past weekend's game. But Bern, I am an eternal optimist and an eternal glass half full person. We will start with the good. I will start with some good. Tanner Mordecai took some really big steps forward. I thought he looked a lot more comfortable. I thought he was throwing with more confidence, especially in the third quarter.
I agree. His comfort level, I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
He was in duress. I mean, he was getting hit from the backside, which is never a quarterback's favorite thing to do.
No.
But he won, 25 for 40, 200, and give me a second.
He went
25 for 40, 278 yards and a touchdown is a great game by all means. Also, there were some drops. So it's like hard to get into the other categories, but there were some drops, and then there was some. I think there were some overthrows deep where I would like to see them be competitive balls.
Yep,
you know what I'm saying? Like, even it may be a pick, but you're letting our guys go get it, and there had to be 4 or 5 of those overthrows.
I think the drops are what would be more concerning for me, just because there were a couple of those drops that were going to be big first downs that felt like real momentum plays, and that didn't turn into them. And, it's still a lot of guys getting onto the same page in a new scheme. But, that's still not, an excuse necessarily, because, we might as well just talk, because it's going to be hard to talk about any good without mentioning some of the bad. So I think that it was what stood out to me offensively, as good as Mordecai was, he wasn't given the opportunity to be better because the offensive line had a lot of issues generating not only a sustainable protection for him, a sustainable pocket for him, but any push in the run game.
Yes, I agree with that. My good is the defense in the second half played so much better. They let up 7 points.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's like night and day from the first to the second half
Mm-hmm.
for both aspects of the game, offense and defense. It's just so nice to see that, you know, like, I think we figured, you know, maybe we're just a better second half team, but I hate to say that because if you don't come out fast, dude, you're going to lose every game.
Yeah,
I mean,
you can't win a game in the first half, but you sure as heck can lose it.
So I'll say that I think we're figuring it out. I think this is going to be a swift kick. And the good thing is it's going to be a swift kick in the butt to say, hey, guys, you know, we had this circled. You knew this was going to be a hard game. You came out super soft, super, you know, playing not to lose. It's a non-conference game, so that's a plus. But honestly, Washington came out like it was their Super Bowl. I mean, they threw everything they could in the first half at us.
They rushed the field afterwards. It was their Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I would do that too, though. I mean, you beat a top 20 team, like I would do it. But they threw everything they could at us. They took advantage. They coached extremely well in my eyes. They took advantage of the pieces of the puzzle that could be taken advantage of. And they played really well. They played better than us. You know, sadly, in a 4-quarter game, they played better than us to win the game.
Yes.
But I would say the defense giving up 7 points is huge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would like to see the offense, you know, we were down 24-22, get the ball back. Like we had opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like we had opportunity. And so that to me is more of like I'm not going to make excuses, but it's like a team gel thing, right? Like these guys a lot of them are new with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of, to me, uncharacteristic drops. You know, Pauling had some, Ashcroft had some. Those are the ones I could remember.
It was actually the Bryson Green had one on.
Had one.
And that was the one on that on a 3rd and 7 right after we got the Badgers had gotten that punt back after probably should have been called a safety. Can't really complain about the refs. I don't think refs, but you know, the one it was very, very close either way. The that drop would have led to a first down and was in a good, advantageous position for Wisconsin.
Right. You could always blame the refs, but you know what? Did they do a great job? Probably not. But at the same time, if the rule book says if you're contacted and driven back, it goes to where you're first contacted.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a safety. Badger Nation's going to be nuts. They're going to say it's a safety. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think actually the biggest call was the Ches call. There was the thing is they ruled it a fumble on the field. Like it's hard to go back.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no evidence to me that said he fumbled the football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, that hurt the most, right? Like I think that was the worst. Because after that one, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was points after that.
There was a touchdown. Yeah, Washington State scored the touchdown to go up 31-22 after.
So if I just have to jump to the ugly, we gave them 2 touchdowns on offense. And if you do that, you don't win. Two deep. I mean, they got a defensive touchdown, which is you're almost guaranteed to lose. Like the statistics get huge.
Yeah.
If you give
defensive and special teams touchdowns swing.
And if you do it both in the same game, massive.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. Not impossible, it was hard. And I think, 3 fumbles, we won in every category. So the good is we won in every category. We started slower than molasses and we won in every category except turnovers. And guess what? They had 0. They played a clean game in my eyes.
Yes, they played a clean game.
And they were well coached for this game. And they came out with some plays that they showed everything. Like they really put everything out there.
I also think that one of the reasons they were able to play so clean was because there was not a ton of pressure on Cam Ward, especially in the first half. In the second half, they got a little bit in there. James Thompson Jr., I think he was credited with a sack and a half. He started to really come alive in the second half. But through 2 weeks, the pass rush is underwhelming.
I think the pass rush, I also think there's a lot of lanes. The run fit we're still figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was because Jordan Turner was out for the first half, but they ran the football. They didn't do it very well in the second half. In the first half, they did. So it's like we're coaching on the fly because we're brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I'm not making an excuse, but this is our second game under a brand new offense, a brand new defense. I'm not happy about it. Like it boils under my skin that we should have won this game and we let them win. And their coach is he's a PJ Fleck in whatever conference they're in. What are they in, the Mountain West?
Pac-12.
They still have a Pac-12 out here?
Yeah, this is the last year of it, but they still got a Pac-12 out here.
Listen, I actually, if I was playing for him, I would love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But watching it, I hate it.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's from the state of Wisconsin.
But that doesn't mean anything to me. He's coaching Washington.
No, I know, but
if he was from the state,
I think there's some extra juice in there on his.
Just for him, he's the only one that cares that much. It's just tough to like. We had this circled. We knew this was going to be a fist fight. We knew they were going to come out and give us their best, and their best guys played their best, and we still didn't start fast.
No.
And we have all these. These all are knowns. Dude, the double pass, so well executed. That goal line play where they did the motion and jet out. Why are we 10 yards why are we 7 yards off? We're man to man on the goal line. What are you scared that he's going to do what's the pass play in the back of the end zone? A fade? Come on. Who cares if they were over? Great. If he throws a fade, you're going to be there. It's a 12-yard window they have. I don't know. So these things are they annoy me as I watch and say, why on earth would we do this? Now, I would love to hear what Sojourn has to say because he was a DB and who knows what that looks like. But I'll give my last good is Fickle, Tressel have been on teams that have been extremely successful. I think most of them won national championships with Ohio State. If I'm not
a couple of them.
They're championship coaches. So I'm not freaking out. I think I think maybe it becomes more of like the sugar coating comes off now. And it says, hey, you go back to the Coach Alvarez era, you done effed up and it's not okay anymore. We're not massaging these dudes anymore. No. We're going to tell them, I think this week's going to be, I have so many metaphors that are all completely.
You're mixing your metaphors again, Bern?
No, they're all, take a crap or get off the pot, like that kind of. I don't know I don't know what else it is, but like, dude, you gotta light a fire under your ass because this ain't gonna work anymore. I almost let it go. Yeah. It's not gonna work anymore. Yeah. And so, okay, so I think the good is at least there's still a lot of upside.
Yeah, there's still a lot of season left, and there's still a lot of all Big Ten plays left, et cetera, which is like always crappy to be like, well, at least still 0-0 in the conference and stuff like that. It's like, well, yeah, but like this doesn't feel good.
No, it feels terrible. Good at all. If it was going to happen, it's not a bad time for it to happen.
No, it's not the worst time for it to happen. I am curious to see some things against Georgia Southern this coming weekend. I know Georgia Southern is not, athletically the same thing that Washington State is. Washington State has some really good athletes on their defense too, especially like on the defensive line and, at linebacker, they had some outstanding athletes, and our offensive line struggled with their athleticism. Our offense now, Georgia Southern does not have the same athletes. That being said, on the other side, Georgia Southern is going to throw the ball around a fair bit, and I'm curious here to see how the Badgers can get a pass rush against another team that is going to try to spread it out and sling it around, or if they just keep rushing 3 and dropping 8 and letting them get picked apart, because that was tough to watch there in the first half, especially, which is like every third down they're gonna rush 3, drop 8, and Cam Ward was such a good athlete. He's just gonna be able to run around and find an open guy or scramble for the first down himself with his legs, and
also usually in a 3-3. Your 3 interior dudes are not pass rushers.
No, they're not.
Like they're run stoppers.
They're there to occupy blocks. Yeah, and
right. So you're asking them to do something they're not supposed to do. I mean, that's my basic concept of.
Yeah, I mean, you'd see on third downs, especially. I noticed a lot of Pietrowski, the Michigan State transfer, was lining up as a defensive end on pass rush downs.
But still, it's 3 against 5.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not really. And also, I would say on our offense, that guy Stone Jr. was a baller, and we left him we left our guys on an island against him. And to me, that doesn't make sense because I just think we need to have a full, like, we just need to do better in pass protection, but like, why not double team that guy?
Yeah.
It's really easy to say, hey, back, you check, if your guy isn't blitzing, find this dude and check him in the ribs.
Mm-hmm.
We played Auburn one year. And they had some.
No, was it a bowl game? Or was
it was a bowl game, but I think it was the Outback Bowl.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They had some good rushers. Dudes. They had dudes. And our game plan was the second that you saw their ribs, you were going to, illegally, you were going to try to block the crap out of them. Shoulder pads, elbow, anything. Not legally throwing an elbow, but like blocking with your flipper, how they taught us. And you could hear these dudes getting pissed at that. But that gives your tackles and your deal and your offensive line just help. Like they can reset, they can get back. Dude, you're also, it's a mind F, right? So like you're going to throw it, your hand up, but you're exposing your ribs that I'm going to come in and go. And I'm like, that's my target, baby. Like, and I remember doing that. I did it to Erasmus James in a bowl practice, and he was pissed. And then I was like, you know what? I really have an opportunity to potentially like legally hurt somebody because that's their ribcage. And I'm like, yo, Raz, my bad, dude. That was a good ass block, right? And he's like, it's going to have me think that you're going to be there all the time. That's the whole point. So why can't we do that? You think Braylon or Ches can't go in there and like scrape some ribs up? Man, this is going to be bad news for dudes. So I thought there was like, we really left Stone to just work. And I think that's not fair for our O-line. I'm not giving them any, praise or anything, but it's just not fair, right? To let them be on an island when you're outmatched.
To me, it's a fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. Especially after exactly. And that's the whole thing, right? Make the adjustment.
That guy's going to the freaking NFL next year because of it.
Yeah. And he's fast. He's fast and he's strong.
Listen, he looked good. I'm not going to say he looked good.
He looked great. Attention athletes. Do you want a frictionless and tailored financial planning experience to secure your future? Well, look no further. Introducing Oak Bridge Wealth Management, the premier financial planning firm for professional athletes. Led by wealth manager Chris Anicetti, our team provides a unique and comprehensive approach, ensuring your financial success both on and off the field. We understand the unique challenges you face as a professional athlete, from managing cash flow habits to planning major business purchases and navigating complex contracts. That's why we've developed a proven process, working closely with our strategic partners to provide seamless solutions for your unique financial journey. Our services evolve with your career, offering short, mid, and long-term goal setting, portfolio optimization, real estate investments, and more. As you transition to life beyond the field, we support you with career development and philanthropic ventures. But don't just take our word for it. Top NFL players like Chase Boulier, Tyler Biadasz, Alec Ingold, and more trust Oak Bridge Wealth Management to guide them towards financial success. Troy Dye of the Minnesota Vikings says, I really love the work that Chris and the rest of the Oak Bridge group do. I especially like the honesty and transparency when it comes to setting up financial goals and plans that best fit my needs and situation. It's time to elevate your financial game plan. Connect with Chris on Instagram at OakBridgeWM_Anicetti. That's OakBridgeWM_ANICETE. And join the winning team. I am starting to get worried about the tight end depth. Rushi and Ashcraft are being asked to do a lot out there, and the lack of other tight end options is tough, especially when one of them is out there pretty much every single play, and they're going with the tempo. And I think this is much more so than last week. I really noticed the lack of tight ends here in this game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think you get tired, why people drop passes. You're exhausted, right? Like you're not at peak, precision. And I think that is definitely affected. And And you're right, though, with even two guys in this offense, it is a hurry up. If you get 60 snaps, you do 30 quick. I mean, that's hard, man. Listen, it's hard on the O-line. It's hard on the defense. That's the whole point you do it, right? It's hard for everybody else, supposedly. And you're right. I mean, I do think that. I think they played pretty well, to be able to like pretty much play Iron Man football. I think they played pretty well.
Yeah.
The drops are killer, right? Like they're killer. And you're right. It would be probably helpful to have another one or to have a different formation that says, we'll just put a wide receiver, which we have depth for days there.
Yeah. We saw a couple more formations with both Braylon and Chez out there at the same time. And I think we need to see even more of that moving forward. I thought that Bryson Green showed up more. He had a key drop, but I've also thought that he showed up a little bit more than he did in week 1. He got a couple more targets. I still would like to see the ball getting to DK a little bit more, if possible.
I totally agree with you.
I think at this point with Braylon catching the ball out of the backfield, it's like, yeah, he can do it. He had another 6 catches, but it's like for 20 yards. And there's these little like dinks.
It says for 12 here.
Okay. There you go. Even less. So, I feel like, 6 catches, 12 yards. So he had 13 touches for 32 yards. That's bad. That's bad.
I don't disagree, but I think exactly what happened and what Coach Longo told us. He's like, listen, they took the run away, and we need to be able to throw. And we kind of did. I mean, 278 is pretty. 25 for 40 is. If that happens every year, every game, you're going to say that's great. So it's just drops and turnovers. It killed us, right? Like, and starting super slow. The first half, to go down 24-6 or 24-9 or whatever it was. That can't happen on the road. You're playing Washington State. They're not as good as half the teams in the Big Ten. I don't care what anyone says anymore. Like, there's no way. They play the Pac-12. There's 4 teams there. We should have won that game. You could always say you should have won. Anyone could say that. But we're playing like Big Ten teams. We're playing real teams. And mistakes and starting super slow. And Coach Alvarez like, we got to start fast. And then you finish, right? Those are the main things. And the momentum stayed with them. Kicking field goals doesn't take momentum back.
No.
So to get 3 field goals and a half doesn't swing that momentum. And Coach Alvarez was all about that momentum swinging back and forth. And right off the bat, they took it, and the momentum was on their side for the full half. I love the way we played in the second half. I hated the way we played the last 7-8 minutes because we should have done way better than what we did.
Absolutely.
So these things are frustrating, right? Like, we didn't start fast and we didn't finish. And these are like key concepts. Like, I'm not a genius. Coach Alvarez is not a genius for thinking of this. It is literally where you win a football game is starting at the beginning and ending. We didn't do that. And it's just frustrating because I think these guys are so much better than they're playing. And I hope that they just say, like, F it. Let's just go do it. Like, I have no more. I'm not going to play timid. I'm not playing out to lose. Like, we're just going to go do it.
Did you feel like they came out to play not to lose?
Kind of. I mean, look at the defense played. To me, like, everything. I actually think Washington State, I don't want to blame our defense. I think Washington State came out with a script for the first half that was, like, unbelievable. I think they played the top football they'll ever play in the first half. If you watch the rest of their season, I guarantee they don't play as good as they did this time. You think they're going to play better? Or there's no way. They literally were doing things, executing to a T. The double pass is really hard. That one on the goal line, that was beautiful. I mean, tell me it wasn't when that guy went in motion, jagged right out or whatever they call it. It was unbelievable. It was great. I mean, that's coaching, that's player, knowing your players. Like, I don't think we could have done anything to really stop some of these plays. No matter what, like, maybe we could have been in better positions, but like, that was impressive. I don't think they coach as hard, and I don't think they play as hard for the rest of the season, the way they did against the first half. And I think it tells us you are beatable by anybody if you don't play fast, physical, and you start right off the bat. no 3 and outs. Not saying you can't do it, but try not to do it. I mean, get points. Don't let, if they score, okay, answer. And answering is not a field goal. That's what's, so difficult is as a coach, you're like, all right, well, we got points. You want to hype your guys. But really, in the back of your head, you can't trade touchdowns for field goals. Like, it's not, you're never going to come out on top.
On the plus side, Vegas was 3 for 3 kicking field goals. So, at least that position seems to have solidified and looking in much better shape than last year.
Dude, totally. I mean, I'm happy that we could get points, but in the I want to win football games, you have to score touchdowns.
That's true.
How many did we have? 2?
Yep, 2 touchdowns.
So you can't win a football game with 2 touchdowns. I mean, you can, but you can't.
No,
it's not usually gonna work.
Well, it's not just that. Your offense scored 2 touchdowns and gave the other team a touchdown.
Right. So if you negate that, right there,
the offense was a net 1 touchdown.
Right, and that is never gonna be positive.
Yeah.
I'll say the last thing about. I mean, we're all over the place, but to me, there's still a huge upside for this team. I mean, we had so many mistakes. We didn't play well. I don't care if the refs were for us or against us. There was some. We should never be put in that position, right? Like, Chez did not drop the ball, but he should never be put in a position that someone could say, maybe you did. Because if you put 100 people in the room and show them that video, you're going to have 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way humanity is. Everyone cannot agree no matter what. So you have one person in the box could be like, no, it looks like the call's right. What are you going to do? They're probably the announcers were probably like, well, I don't know. One guy's like, you can't tell. And somebody's like, I don't know, maybe you can. So what does that mean to me? It just means if you don't drop the ball, there's no way to even go to that. And I'm not blaming Chez at all, but I do think if you don't put the refs in a position to make a bad call, they can't make a bad. I mean, they can, but they can't.
Yeah.
I'm a lot of back and forth on double negatives tonight.
It's okay. It's okay. My brain's still spinning a little bit from everything. So
so tough.
So tough. That's okay. Georgia Southern coming up next. Got time for a get right game. Time to see,
I still think we have all the upside, and I think, coming off this loss, people are going to be hot, and that produces a lot of welled up violence.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is focused correctly, Georgia Southern is in a whole lot of trouble. I mean, from a humongous standpoint.
Yeah.
And then continued on. That mentality should stay there. Don't forget Washington State. Don't let Iowa, don't let Rutgers, don't let any of these jabroni teams think that they have a shot with you. And Washington from the get-go thought they had a shot with us. And that is, you put a nail in the coffin, and we got to do that quick. That's what we got to do.
Yeah. Yeah. When you come out on the first drive and, those early 3 and outs, man, that you mentioned, those were killers. Those are absolute killers.
Because you get their best guys who are the freshest they'll be with, literally it was their Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And we let them, I think we still let them win. I'm always the optimist. I think we had an opportunity and we limped into the game. And when it was hot at the end, we just didn't produce.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, we will be back later this week with Sojourn Shelton once again. We're going to break down a little bit of tape here to see what, for some better eyes, at least better than my eyes. We'll let Bernie and Sojourn do the talking on what we're seeing on tape, break down some key moments from the game, some of the good and some of the bad. And talk about what worked, what didn't, and what guys should or shouldn't be doing in those moments, and what we want to see moving forward. We'll be back later this week again with another interview with someone from Badger Pass. We're not sure her yet, but we know you'll like it no matter who it is. So that is going to do it for us today here on Monday Morning Fullback. as part of the Believe in Badgers podcast on the Believe Network, presented by betonline.ag and Oak Ridge Wealth Management. So until next time, thanks for tuning again in, and on Wisconsin.
On Wisconsin. Let's not give up on these dudes yet.
No, absolutely not.
No way. Early season.